Hey friends, today I wanted to answer a question that's asked all the time about the hair tissue and mineral analysis. And it's what is the difference between what you can get from a hair tissue and mineral analysis versus a blood test? Or, why would you do a hair tissue and mineral analysis instead of getting a blood draw? So, as you know, our doctors are always like one of the things they do is as a standard is to draw our blood and find out from a metabolic panel what might be going on with our state of health. And it's great, but there are certain things that actually it can miss on a lab that can tell us so much more information about what's going on. So one of the things that I like about hair tissue and mineral analysis is that it's telling you what's going on at a cellular level. What does that mean? So basically, your hair is a tissue sample, and what's going on in the cell is different from what is going on in your blood. So, blood is more homeostatic. So, basically, it's a carrier to take the oxygen and nutrients into the cells, right? And so, what's important is, of course, what's in the blood. I would say maybe it's not even an either or situation, right? Actually, using a hair tissue and mineral analysis alongside blood work is amazing. You get so much information, and so why not do both? However, with blood, there are a lot of different things that you're getting that's more different information, like what's going on in the moment in real time. And so with blood, it's carrying minerals, but then from a mineral perspective, it's not really what's going on in your cells. So when you get a hair sample, what you're getting is really what's going on in those cells of yours and how is it using or not using the things that the blood is carrying to your cells. An example is there's something called a thyroid ratio, and that's the calcium and potassium. And when calcium is really high, then basically the ability to absorb the thyroid hormone is compromised. When it's really low, your cell is permeable, and so the thyroid hormone goes right through. Well, if you have like adequate thyroid hormone to your blood lab, it really isn't telling you whether your tissues are able to actually absorb it and hold on to it, or if it's just going right through, or it's actually blocking the ability to bring it in. So you might have a blood lab that says that you are normal, but then your cells are telling a different story. And so that's an example of how maybe your blood labs will say that everything's okay, but really there's something else going on. And we've especially in midlife, experience that situation where you're not feeling well, you feel sluggish and you feel bloated, and all the things you've been doing to help yourself, get healthier and feel better and get more energy isn't working. And this will tell you why just at a glance. So that's one of the reasons why the hair tissue and mineral analysis is so amazing. Something else that's different about a hair test is that it's telling you what's going on with your minerals. And in terms of like the blood work, minerals are not always found mostly in your blood cells. They're found in your tissue. For example, magnesium, one of the main minerals, one of the more important minerals, it's maybe 1% in your blood, and over the rest of it is in your cells. And so you wouldn't really be able to tell what your levels are at just by looking at blood alone. Also, you have heavy metals in our bodies, and again, with blood, if you have toxic metals in overload, you're going to have an emergency and basically you're going to know about it. But then a lot of times, especially since we've been around in midlife for maybe 40 to 50 years at this point, toxic metals are everywhere. And it's been said that maybe 80,000 different toxic chemicals. This was like a decade ago when they were saying this. So who knows what's going on now? I'm sure there's statistics out there to give you a different story, but 80,000 different toxic chemicals that have not been identified or researched by the Food and Drug Administration or whatever the governing body is for such things. And all of that is to say that we all have, during the course of life, exposure to heavy metals. And over time, it accumulates in our bodies, and sometimes for a long time, even from childhood. And so when you run a hair tissue and mineral analysis, you're going to be able to see what is actually resident in the tissues in your body. And that is not going to be something you'll find in blood. And toxic metals do affect our health and well-being, and especially as you're accumulating. And so from a hair tissue and mineral analysis, for example, it looks at, let's see how much I can remember: cadmium, uranium, arsenic, aluminum, mercury. For example, I'm sure I'm missing a few other ones off the top of my head, but all of these things affect your state of health. Aluminum goes into your brain, so does mercury, and also the arsenic really affects you. Mercury is like the Mad Hatter syndrome, right? It also tells us about lithium levels, which also affects our mood and detox, actually. So there's so many different things you can find out in this one test. And I think the other obvious thing about the difference between a hair test and a blood test is that it doesn't hurt, right? And also you can just cut the hair yourself in the comfort of your own home. Maybe find a friend, maybe do it together, right? Go buddy buddy on a hair test, or go to your hairstylist and have them cut your hair. And of course, when you do that, there are a lot of different things to consider. Please look at the other posts about what people get wrong when they take their hair test, but that will give you some ideas about how to take a hair sample. And it's painless and it's easy, and you don't have to drive somewhere and have a lab do it for you. And then you just mail the sample out in your regular mailbox, and there you go. So ease of collection of samples. The other thing I love about a hair tissue and mineral analysis is that it really is a fabulous test to teach you about what's going on with the mind-body connection. It's one of my favorite aspects of the test, because minerals are very emotional, and any metabolic thing you have to do in your body involves minerals, including the formation of neurotransmitters, which are the chemicals that help you with your mood and motivation and feeling good, and also feeling kind of that less physical tension. And magnesium too, right? A lot of us have taken Epsom salt baths, or sprayed magnesium oil or maybe lotion on ourselves. You could feel that calm muscular contention go away. And so a hair tissue and mineral analysis can tell you so much about also what's been going on with your stress response, which stage of stress you're in. Is it acute, or is it something that's been chronic? And then also your level of depletion. And it's literally, we have something called a vitality ratio to tell you how much vital energy you have, how much energy can you generate in your physical body. Because if you're not able to create energy in your body, then nothing you do will work well. No amount of exercise is actually more depleting, right? And then when you're trying to eat food, you're not able to digest it and absorb the nutrients. And then if you have heavy metal toxicities, that'll impact your ability to absorb and digest nutrients, and all of that affects your mood and your energy too. When you're high energy, you feel better all around. You feel like you could do anything in the world. And when you're depleted in your energy, everything feels like a slog. And this is so important, because this is the crux of what's going on in women and midlife burnout, and why nothing seems to be working when you're trying to help yourself out from that cascade of symptoms that happen when we get into midlife. Another thing about the hair tissue and mineral analysis is that it also talks about your metabolic state, your oxidation rate, how quickly you are aging, and also what's going on with your energy. Are you using it very slowly, or are you burning through it too fast? When we talk about metabolism, we're always favoring a fast metabolism, but actually you want it to be balanced. If it's too slow, you're using your resources too slowly, and actually your body in its intelligence is slowing you down on purpose, because it knows that you've been in a chronic state of stress for too long, and it knows that you're depleted emotionally and minerally, and is that a word? And mineral, from a mineral standpoint, and also from resources. And so it's actually slowing you down on purpose. But then what it's doing is also, causing weight loss resistance and low energy, and also your thyroid starts to slow down. And then all of these midlife symptoms assigned to just aging are showing up. But then if it's too fast, then you're burning through your resources too quickly. And again, you're going to get a lot of the same symptoms actually if your metabolic rate is too fast. So this lab is one of the few labs that tells you, you can see visually what's going on with your metabolism. Is it high, low? And you can see also a seasoned practitioner can tell you where it's trending and also how long it's been going on and what to do to help you recover your metabolism. So that's really exciting. And I love that about the lab as well. It also tells you what's going on, and it could show you visually what your burnout blueprint looks like and how you're running through stress in your life. And so it gives you affirmation that you are not lazy, you are not broken, and you're not mean, and you don't have those crazy mood swings. It's your body chemistry. And that is something that we can shift. And so it's really actually very empowering and exciting when you get your lab results and you're able to understand what's being seen from a biological or biochemical perspective and also an emotional perspective. And when you start using both, nervous system regulation, that's why I talk about it so much, and different tools to manage stress, and you support your physiology, that's when you're able to see results, and it's really exciting. So why an HTMA instead of blood work? Why not do both? But now you know the information you can find from a hair tissue and mineral analysis. And if you'd like to find out more about how it works in real time, I'm going to include a link for a case study on how one of my clients, Anna, got her spark back. And then also, I'll put a link on how to order your lab so that you can get your lab results and see what's going on with your health and wellness and get those crazy whack-a-mole symptoms done and gone. Okay, have a great day and thanks for listening. And please subscribe too so that we can stay in touch. Cheers.